So after the pour is done, there will be some bubbles. Just wait for 5 minutes. They will just self die. So after that, what you have to do is, what I do is, the name what I give to this process is fire brushing. What you have to do is, get your flame at the minimum. Every time you do your this to get rid of the bubbles or this firing, every time you do, make sure it is at its minimum, and it should be on the height of at least not more than it should be at least at 1 inch height when you do your firing, when you're fire brushing. So this fire brushing is a process which is not a word, but I call that fire brushing. What you have to do is quickly fire brush through your entire project where there is resin, because as I told you, there are bubbles inside. There are very thin, there is a thin layer of, there is a thin army of bubbles, micro bubbles, which are a layer down, which is not visible on top. So all you have to do is, you just have to fire them. You cannot use blowtorch. Blowtorch is hot air essentially. So what will happen is, imagine this bubble is a shield. It is the bubbles is basically air inside a shield of a liquid. So that is very hard. So when you when you pour, when you blow hot air, what happens is, it does not break the outer layer of it. When you fire it out, it just the fire the fire acts as a missile. So it just goes inside it, and it just cracks that out. The shield is broken. So that is the reason why fire. So what you have to do is, after the pour is done, you look at the bubbles. If there are some bubbles, just use this fire and get rid of the bubbles first of all, the big bubbles which are visible. After that, wait for some more time, and then fire brush it. Fire brush your entire project. Just quickly, just pass it through fire, so that all these micro bubbles they disappear. So this is a firing process. You have to get rid of the micro bubbles. It is not. It is a process of, at least you have to do this process at least 2 or 3 times. After that, wait for some time. After your firing is done, wait for some time. Your resin will be, now your surface will be very much clear. So now you will just see there are a lot of dust particles inside. There will be a lot of dust particles. Some insect will be there. There will be something. There will be some particles here and there. Just keep a pack of toothpick with you whenever you do your projects and all. Whenever you see any dust particle, any insect or whatever, just keep that handy, so that you can just plug it and remove it. Plug it and remove it. After that is done, wait for some 15 minutes. And as I tell you, this is a process of, you have to just keep on observing it, because until you become a pro, you have to just keep on observing it. So there will be some dust, some insect. They will just come and just end up there, or your hair. And when you do your projects and all, make sure you wear your apron, cover your hair with cover your beard, your hair, and you don't put your cotton clothes. Try to put tight clothes, and that also silk kind of, like which does not give out these particles out. So make sure you take care of all this. You just just be covered, and just don't move around too much in that thing. And as I told you, your workplace should be well ventilated. Well ventilated means, like, it's not necessary to put a full on fan, but it should not be covered, because there are a lot of fumes that comes out, and that will be, they are like really toxic to some people. And just wear your mask also. Just don't put your face into resin. Just avoid like coming in contact with resin, because it gives out during the starting stages. It heats up, and it gives out these fumes which are not visible. So sometimes I feel ill. Sometimes people are allergic to that. So just avoid that. And then as I told you, if there are some dust particles or whatever, just get rid of this with the toothpick. And then, as I told you, fire brushing or the micro bubbles. After that also, just wait for like half an hour, 15 minutes. At least wait for 15 minutes and do one more brush, fire brush. so that if at all some bubbles are left, they may just go out with the second brushing. So now this will be this first pour will be done. So this first pour is done now. So now wait for the curing thing. As I told you, we are using casting epoxy here, casting resin. Casting because we have to get the body. We are not using the other resin which is called coating. Just remember the name coating. It is only used for the coating process. The coating process only. For every other thing we are using casting epoxy. Even for the sealing we are using casting. So casting is that is 3:1. The ratio is 3:1. Just remember that we are using casting resin which takes 24 hours to cure. So now the next pour should be after 24 hours because this surface has to be like absolutely cured. Absolutely cured is not as in like fully cured. So there is a thing called if you have to go now, we have to go to the second pour. Now there is a thing called the nail test. There is a thing called nail test that you have to do this nail test before doing the next pour. So nail test is what? Your surface should be hard, it should be cured, but it should not be extremely cured. You have to do this test. You have to just press your nail to the surface and just check. It should be hard enough to hold the pressure, but it should give the impression of your nail to the surface of the resin. It will start happening after 18 hours to 24 hours. It will start during that process. So whenever that stage comes, when your resin is on that stage where it gives that impression of your nails, so that time you have to realize that you are ready for the next pour. You are ready for the next pour. Now once you are satisfied, once that nail test is done, the nail test should be absolutely strong. It should not be your entire finger should not go in. So that is not the cure. Only you have to put your pressure and only the marks should come there. If it is, it should not be absolutely cured. So it should be not so much that even it should not become hard like stone. So that the impression of your nails they don't come. It should be under. The impression of the nail should come. So once this stage is come, it comes after 18 to 24 hours. Then you are ready to do your next pour. That is the second pour. As I told you, all the pores are done in half inch. So now we are doing 1.5 inch thickness. So we will be doing 3 pores. And the pouring thing is the same. Pouring thing, everything is the same. After that, do your next pour. Similar way only. Same thing. Snake thing, sideways you do first, then in the middle you do. Then you get rid of the bubbles. There will be dust particles. Get rid of the dust particles. And then do your fire brushing. Everything is the same. Do that thing, then wait for another 24 hours. Do your nail testing, and then do the last pour. And everything is the similar. After you do the last pour, after the resin is reached to the level of the wood, so that will be the end. That will be the last pour. So after the last pour is done, now we have to wait for at least 2 or 3 days for the entire thing to be cured fully. 2 or 3 days, at least more than 24 hours, 36 hours. At least 36 hours we have to wait. What we recommend everybody to do is, when you do your first project and all, and it is actually a standard procedure, you have to wait for at least to fully cure. It takes at least 7 days in the mold. You can wait for 7 days also, but at least you have to wait for 3 days, at least more than 36 hours, just because it should cure entirely. Then will just come out easily. It will be very harder, and to finish also it will be much easier after this process. But then again, at least wait for 36 hours, or better wait for 7 days to demold it, getting it out of the mold. So this is the process of pouring. So now the pouring is done. The pouring is done. The level is achieved. Now we have to wait for 7 days, or at least 36 hours. So now this is the part of pouring. So later now we will be discussing about the demolding in the later part, and then finishing and then the fixing of the legs. So we'll meet in the next session now. Thank you so much.